Stop sharing.
So you can start now. I think the recording started.
Yeah, thanks, Mukesh. I was also just trying to figure out because I was not able to go to the other screen. Yeah, so I'm sorry about that. So now that the recording started, welcome everyone. So this is the seventh instance of our Defeat the Hacker session this year. And for today, we have two topics in the agenda. One is I'll be talking about the critical patches, which was released recently by SAP. And then we have expert Shipra joining us who will describe more about CVEs, how it can be used, how SAP is doing things with respect to CVEs, things like that. So without further ado, I'll go to the first topic, which is the critical patches we have released recently. Okay, so yeah, we are talking about the critical SAP security notes, which were released from July to September patch days, and so there were four very high priority security nodes which were released. One in July, one in August, and two in September. So I will go in detail through each of these security nodes. The general guidance from SAP is that we strongly advise every customer to apply these security nodes on priority because these are issues with CVSs greater than 8.9, and as you know, these are very critical. And like these days, many exploits are happening, ransomware, things like that are happening. So please don't hold on. Prioritize very high nodes and implement it as soon as possible. Okay, then we'll probably go in detail through each security nodes. So the first one, which was released in July, so this is actually covering two security vulnerabilities in SAP NetWeaver product, especially the AS Java LM configuration wizard part. And as you can see, the impact here will be like complete compromise of all the vectors like confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So a successful attack would mean complete compromise your system. This had got some media attention also, and as you can see, SAP has already published a spotlight news regarding this issue, which was published in July. So please prioritize this because if you search online also, you'll find many media attention happening or like going on with this security issue. So yeah, other than that, yeah, it has two issues. So one is a missing authentication, which is the very high severity issue, which has a CVS score of 10. As you know, that's a perfect score. It's a maximum with respect to CVSs, and that is why please prioritize it again. And for a worker, and it's good to mention, note here that there is a, I'm really sorry. There is a workaround which is available, and you can find it in the FAQ document, which is mentioned here, and also in the not solution section. So in case if you're not right away not able to apply the complete fix, please use this workaround. And again, just to mention, workarounds are temporary fix. Do not consume or consider this as a permanent fix. The permanent fix will be in the next, will be in the solution section, and please use that as a permanent fix. Okay, so moving on to the next one, which was released in August. So this was a cross-site scripting issue, which is again SAP NetWeaver. So out of all three issues, I think three are like, from SAP NetWeaver area, but different components. So again, here the impact is again full compromise of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. The CVS score is 9 because there is some privileges which is required to exploit this. But there is no workaround available in this case. But you can find more information. Please refer to the FAQ document. Will have information like whether your product is affected or like what are the steps to be taken, things like that. So please refer to the FAQ documents if you have any questions with respect to any of the notes. Okay, then we had like another one which was released on September. So this September we had two hot newses, or how we call it, for very high priority nodes. We had two, and first one is on SAP marketing, and it was a improper access control. So basically, there was no some unauthenticated users, or like not completely unauthenticated, but yeah, users can basically do things which they are not supposed to do. So one thing is, like, at least here there is only complete compromise of confidentiality and integrity. The application or the service itself will not be affected. There is here also there is a workaround which is available. Again, it's not a workaround, but an interim fix, and you can refer to the node solution section and the FAQ note for more details. And the last one is again on SAP NetWeaver, the ABAP server, and I think the later higher versions it's called as ABAP platform. So here also it's complete impact, all three vectors are impacted. And here it's a code injection, which is again a very high CVSS score, and unfortunately there is no workaround available for this thing, or like this issue. You can again refer to the FAQ documents. Please refer to the FAQ documents. It will have a lot of again frequently asked questions, but then it will give you a lot of clarity if you are like if you have any queries or something like that. So with that, again, I would like to go back to the first slide as the ending slide, because yeah, this statement, we strongly advise our customers to apply this on priority. So please, in case if you have not applied it till now, please prioritize this or pass it on to the right teams in your company so that these nodes are implemented on priority. Okay, so then that is all from my side. Before I hand it over to Shipra on the CV topic, let me. Is there any questions? So which came up already? Okay.
I don't think there are any questions. So maybe Shipra, if you can just take it away.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you can share your screen, but.
Shipra, you can start sharing your screen, and Mukesh, probably in the meantime, you can launch the first poll actually.
Okay, so there is a question from Nilesh. Is there a possibility that SAP provides a transactional code to check applicable security notes?
So it's not a transaction code. Basically, we have solution. If you have using Solution Manager, we have a like a feature inside it called System Recommendation, which again, like whichever systems is linked to Solution Manager, it will advise you, okay, which are the security nodes which are applicable for your environment. I hope that answers your question. So System Recommendation in Solution Manager is the tool which should be used to find out which are the applicable security nodes for your environment.
Thanks, Bipin.
Yeah, so then I don't think there are any other questions. If there are any questions, I will answer it at the end, or like in the like I can also answer it in the chat in between. So then I hand it over to Shipra. Shipra, you can share your screen and go ahead.
Yeah, I already shared, Bipin. Can you see my screen?
No, we can't
No?
see your screen, Shipra. No.
It?
So while Shipra gets set up with her presentation, at any point in time, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen and post your questions there. We'll try and answer them as the questions come along. If not, at the end of the session, we'll have some time to go through all the questions and answer them. Thanks. Yeah, Shipra, you can take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mukesh and Bipin, and thank you everyone who are in the call today for joining this session on CVEs. So as I start the session, I think you already have seen while Bipin was presenting that we have a CVE ID assigned to each of the security node. Yeah. So what I want to cover in today's talk is basically the background behind why CVEs came into existence in the first place. What does it offer? and why SAP decided to become a CVE numbering authority, how SAP assigns CVEs to its security nodes and vulnerabilities, and how you can make sense out of a CVE entry. And finally, last but not the least, how you can why should you actually care about a CVE, how you can make use of it in consuming SAP patches more effectively. Yeah, so yeah, I think before I delve into the topic, I also wanted to introduce myself. I am Shipra Agarwal from Security Response team, also from the same team as Bipin, where we deal with all the publicly or externally reported security vulnerabilities, and we drive the development of security patches with good high quality and release them on patch days. And I was leading patch day initiatives a few years back for around 4 to 5 years while I was with this team, and then slowly I moved into other responsibilities surrounding patch consumption, and CVEs is one among them. And currently I am leading this topic from SAP. And I deal with MITRE and NVD on getting the CVEs published every patch day with the right information going into it. And in case of any updates required, I have to deal with the queries and so on. Yeah, so with that context, let me get into the CVE topic. Right, so what exactly was the problem that CVE was trying to fix? Yeah, as we know, in early days in 1990s and so on, so the software vendors were facing a challenge wherein each vendor's tool generates its own alert for detected vulnerabilities, but they have to verify between different tools to determine if they are talking about the same issue or they are talking about multiple issues. So that was a very time consuming job. Yeah, so whether for example, if we are talking about a cross-site scripting in one of the SAP products like say business objects, so the tool detects it as an XSS in business objects, and it also detects another XSS, for example, or another tool detects another XSS in business objects. So how do we understand if we are talking about the same issue or we are talking about different occurrences of the issue? Yeah, so that is the reason these talks started developing in early 1999, and finally MITRE came up with launched the CVEIDs program, and the organization started assigning CVEIDs to publicly known vulnerabilities. Yeah, so that was the first time CVIDs were started to be publishing, and since then more and more organizations are listing themselves as a CV naming authorities called CNAs with MITRE, and they are becoming eligible to assign CVIDs for their known software security vulnerabilities. Yeah. So if you can see in one of the screenshot here, the CVID looks like this. And I'm sure you would have, already looked into such CVIDs from SAP Security Notes and various other sources. It starts with CVE, and then it mentions the year in which the vulnerability was publicly disclosed, or when the CVID was issued for this vulnerability. So here it's 2020, and then we have a 4-digit numerical identifier associated with it, which is a unique identifier for that particular vulnerability. Right. So now, how do we also come up with the identifier? I will come to it later on. But for now, what we need to understand is what was the problem CVE was trying to address and when it came into existence. So I hope you get this point. And now I move into how SAP becomes a CNA, and why did we choose to become that. So today, if you see any major organization is listed as a CNA, you talk about Apple, Facebook, Apple, and every other, not just the bigger brands, but there are many smaller organizations which are listed as CNA today with MITRE. There are now 120 odd organizations right now. And there are many even researchers and bug bounty programs also listed as CNAs with MITRE. Yeah. So this is definitely a growing, trend, and it's not just because of the peer pressure. I would say there was a increasing demand from our premium customers in say 2015 and 2016 year around, wherein we got a lot of high priority CVE IDs to the security notes, like they get from other vendors that they are using, like Microsoft and Adobe, and they have CVE compatible tools which enable them to consume the patches efficiently if a CVE ID is assigned to a security vulnerability. Yeah, so there was definitely a demand in the market, and that is when SAP decided to go and get listed as a CNA. And as you can see, on 8th November 2017 was finally SAP was listed as CNA with CVE. Yeah, and then from December 2017 patch day onwards is when we started publishing CVE IDs along with the security notes. Yeah, so the benefits what we see here is definitely transparency. Earlier, the security vulnerabilities, patches, and all information was restricted only to customers. There was no public information available as to which vulnerabilities SAP is fixing, what is the product affected, and so on, which is now available to public consumption. Yeah, which is need of the hour. I mean, every organization is moving towards that, and we cannot keep hiding our security issues forever. So transparency was a major issue that was addressed. And automation support, as I spoke touched upon just now, is there are many CVE compatible tools which help in prioritizing and automating the patch consumption based on the CVE ID. So once you assign a CVE identifier to a vulnerability, you can easily search for it in various platforms. You can easily use it to compare security tools and so on. Yeah, and you, you can also use this SAP ensures consistency and authenticity of the vulnerability information from various vulnerability databases, as I mentioned. Yeah, so this was why uh, SAP decided to become a CNA. What are the benefits we see, and this is definitely helping our customers as we see it. And now coming to what is how do we assign CVEs to the security patch day notes? Yeah, so as I mentioned, from December 2017 is when we started assigning CVE IDs to each of the security nodes. So what we do is we only assign CVEs to publicly known or externally known vulnerabilities. So that is why we assign CVE IDs only to the patch day nodes. Yeah, as you know, there will be some notes getting released in between the patch days or sometimes also on patch days, which we term it as support package security notes, which are basically notes fixing internally found issues from SAP, but they have to be released due to some dependency and other reasons. So for those notes, we do not assign a CVE ID. We assign CVE IDs only for patch day security notes. So that is a basic rule. And and how do you find the CVE ID assigned? If you open a security note, I'm sure you would have already seen many notes. Inside the security note, you have this CVE ID link associated with that note, which will directly point you to the CVE site, and you can see all the contents of the CVE entry there, which also I will be showing coming up. And then the other way is you also have this publicly available patch day blog for each patch day, wherein you can see all the CVEs that are published in that patch day corresponding with the associated security notes. Right? It also gives you the link directly to the CVE website, like the security note. Yeah, so while the security note is hidden behind this user access, these blogs are publicly accessible by anybody over the internet. Yeah, so these two are the places where you can, from the SAP side, you can access the CVEs. And yeah, and I would also now like to show you some numbers about the number of CVs that we have published in the past. As I mentioned, 2017 end is when we started, and then I have collected the numbers for 2018, 19, and so on. And you can see the yellow bar represents the number of CVEs that got published for that year, and the gray bar shows the number of patch day security notes that was released in that year. Yeah, so yeah, uh, uh, I would also like to talk about one point here is that a CVE ID is a unique identifier for a vulnerability, right? So what I mean by that is, for example, a security node is fixing multiple security issues. Say, for example, we have a cross-site scripting, a SQL injection, command injection, and probably one or two more issues fixed with that security node for that particular product version. Yeah. So in that case, the security note is a collection of the vulnerabilities. So we will have individual CVE IDs assigned for each of the vulnerability. So that means that security note will be associated with 4 or 5, whatever be the number of vulnerabilities that it addresses. That number of CVEs associated with that security note. Yeah. And so one node can have multiple CVEs. Yeah. And there is also another way possible, like for example, if the particular vulnerability is fixed in various products, or uh, yeah, if that vulnerability needs a fix on the client side and server side. So it might happen that that vulnerability needs two separate code fixes, but the vulnerability occurrence is the same. The attack that is happening is single. Yeah. So in that case, we have only single CVE, but we might have two security nodes. Yeah. Also, in the case of multiple products affected for a single vulnerability, we might have multiple security nodes, but have a single CVE ID. So although the latter case is like, a little rarer, the former case of one security node fixing multiple issues is more common, as you would have seen. So the number, you can see that in this trend, we see the other way around, where the number of patch day security nodes is higher than the number of CVs that we published. And I will come to what are the two reasons behind that. Yeah, so one reason is the update notes. Yeah, so update notes basically deal with the, an already published security note. They give some updated information about, probably some information was needs to be enhanced from the previous note, or probably some additional version of the product needs to be fixed, which was not done in the previous note. So we release an update note to an already released security note. Since the vulnerability addressed is the same, we do not associate a new CVE ID. So update notes don't usually carry a CVE ID. That is one reason. And the other reason is inbound open source security notes, like SAP fixing issues for Apache Struts or some other open source, libraries. In that case, because there is CVE ID already available for the open source vulnerability, we do not issue a new CVE ID for those. So in those reasons, we have, lesser number of CVEs compared to the number of notes that were published. But yeah, I think you get the point. In 2020, you can see we have already a high number of CVEs and the security notes published compared to previous years. Uh, there was one note in July patch day, if I remember correctly, which was fixing, uh, I think it was in September patch day. Yeah, it was 38 issues. Yeah, so it was the reason. I think this is one of the reason why we have a spike in the number of CVs also. Yeah. So, but overall, this is the range of numbers you can look at, when it comes to SAP publishing security notes and the CVE IDs. Okay. Now, having talked about all the background about what CVE does, why SAP releases a CVE, how it does, and so on. Let's get into a little bit of detail of what exactly a CVE looks like. If you would have already seen, when you click on the CVE link as shown on the CVE website, which is a single page dedicated to that particular CVE ID, where you can see the ID associated. You can see the description of the vulnerability that is fixed, which consists of the product name, the version which is affected, what is the actual impact of the vulnerability, and the vulnerability itself. And it also lists the CWE category of the vulnerability. For example, incomplete XML validation is what is the vulnerability type in this case. Yeah, so these are all the elements of CVE entry. In addition to that, we also have the reference or fixes for this vulnerability. We also have the link to the link to this public patch day blog. So these two references are also mandatory to be provided for a CVE entry. Yeah, and then I will also come to NVD. So NVD is basically a national vulnerability database, and both CVE and NVD are sponsored by the US Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, so NVD CVE list feeds NVD basically, and in addition to what information we have in CVE, we have a CVSS listed here. Yeah, so we also have the problem description similar to what we see before, and we also have the CVSS, which is not listed in the CV, but this is the same. This CVSS is provided by us. Yeah, the CNA score that you see is what SAP provides, and the NIST base score is what you see is rated by NVD. Yeah, there should not be ideally a discrepancy, but there is in some cases because NVD lists the CVSS based on the information that we provide in the public description, like the whatever the 2 lines about the vulnerability I have given. So based on that, they rate this base score, but SAP rates the CVSS based on the actual understanding of the vulnerability. So the reason is also for discrepancies. Sometimes we are not able to provide all the information because of sensitivity of the nature of the information, and also other factors. So we don't have control over what NVD provides the CVSS score, but we highly recommend customers to use the CVSS score that SAP has provided, because we have the true knowledge about the vulnerability. Yeah. So please use the CVSS for assessing the risk in your environment. And in addition to that, NVD also provides advanced searching features like by operating system, by vendor name, product name, versioning, by vulnerability type, and so on. Yeah, so these search features, additional search features, you can find in NVD, which a CVE list does not provide you. Yeah, so these are the two artifacts which you can look into while trying to analyze the CV entry for a particular vulnerability. Okay, so as I mentioned, why you should actually care about a CV. Just a second. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So what exactly you can do with CV, right? We talked about a lot about assigning a CV ID and why it came into existence, but what it means to me as a customer, what I can make use of actually on the table, right? So that is what matters to me. So yeah. So as I mentioned, CV is free to use and publicly available to anyone interested in correlating the data between different vulnerability and security tools. Yeah, CV helps because it provides a standardized ID for a given vulnerability. So knowing this common ID allows you to quickly and accurately obtain information from various CV compatible information sources. Yeah, because there is an ID associated, you can search for it and find information from various tools, and you can also use CV in comparing different tools and services. Yeah, so which helps you to make a better choice of which of these capabilities are appropriate for your needs. Okay, so you can use it to get information from various sources. You can also use it to compare security tools to make a better choice for your organization. And the second point talks about you can also choose from a variety of CV compatible products and services to improve how your organization responds to the security advisories. Yeah. So the picture I have shown on the right, it basically, talks about an example. So what is happening here is an organization is able to detect an ongoing attack with its CVE compatible IDS. Yeah. Now what this IDS does is it provides an attack report with specific vulnerabilities that are susceptible to the detected attack. And this information can then be compared against the latest vulnerability scan by your CV compatible scanner to determine whether your enterprise is susceptible to one of the vulnerabilities that can be exploited by the attack, right? And if it does, you can then choose from what to do next. Yeah, so you can then choose from uh, access a CV compatible site with patches and workarounds for known vulnerabilities from the software vendor. Yeah, so this is how you can use the whole cycle of detecting an attack to understand if that vulnerability, if your organization is susceptible to that vulnerability or not. And then or you can also use CV in identifying the patches available for that vulnerability, in applying those patches for your landscape. Yeah. So you can see for their vulnerability assessment, for their software patching and so on. Yeah. And other indirect benefits for CVE are searching for vulnerabilities. Yeah. For example, if you want to see for a particular product, which are the recent CV website, search in the search for that product name, and you will get the list of CVs published for that particular product. And then you can start prioritizing which ones are most important and then applying in your landscape. Yeah. So these are some use cases you can utilize for making use of the whole CV concept. Okay, so yeah, so towards the end of the session, I also want to share some practical tips to keep in mind while planning for consuming the CVEs. Yeah. So first and foremost is to understand that don't expect CVEs to do anything more than what they are. Like, they are a list of known issues and information about them, and that's it. Yeah. And this can be very useful component for the security strategy that helps you warn of your potential issues in your organization. But CVE isn't intended as a comprehensive list of every security threat in the landscape, right? And CVE system will not itself magically mitigate every risk. Yeah, I hope we are aware of that. Yeah, don't expect CVEs to be comprehensive list, and once I fix this, I'm totally protected. It's not that. Yeah, so many people don't realize that CVEs do not fully represent all the ways in which your software can be vulnerable. They only represent the issues which are known publicly and disclosed. Yeah, so we have to keep that in mind for sure to start with any activities. Having said this, yeah, of course, one of the values of the CV system is that it not only shares important security information, but it does so in a universal language. Yeah, so that means it can be a significant bridge builder that enables your development, operations, and security teams to better coordinate and work together. Yeah, so use leverage that feature of CVE to make the development teams and other teams to understand the criticality of the patches, to understand how we need to remediate and so on. Yeah. And then last but not the least is every year thousands of CVEs are published, and it is virtually impossible to effectively know each and every one. Yeah, so we definitely need some filtering filtering tools to monitoring to focus on the important one. Security teams is to determine, which CVEs need, the most, which have the most significant risk and which needs to be prioritized first. Yeah. So while you can use the CVSS information which is provided in the CV document, as I just shared with you before, but that is not just the deciding factor. You also need to take into consideration the environmental factors. Like, for example, if there is an issue in a public facing website which can be exploited without any authentication, that definitely needs to be prioritized more than an issue which might have a higher CVSS but which is hidden in an internal network and which can be accessed only by getting into the VPN. Yeah, so that environmental factors are also not to be forgotten in prioritizing the CVEs is also important for us. Yeah. And then we highly recommend in leveraging the automation solutions offered on some threat intelligence platforms to automatically monitor CVEs related to your organization. Yeah. Applying prioritization to CVs based on the organizational context goes a long way towards improving overall security posture. Yeah. So keep these guidelines and these hints in mind when you are planning for consuming CVs. Understand the limitations of CVs, as I mentioned. Leverage them to bridge collaboration between your teams, and leverage them to automate the CV prioritization, and and as I shared in my previous slide, how to get information about patch, and get information about which vulnerabilities your organization might be affected with, and plan your patch strategy accordingly. So these are on a broader level the major topics or points I wanted to cover today, and I hope it's meant to be. And I also have collected a list of resources here which might help you in analyzing CVs, and yeah, for example, there's one change logs which helps you in monitoring which are the new additions to the CV list and so on, and how to find all the CVs related to SAP products. Yeah. So the slides and the recording will be shared with you later on, and please make use of this in consuming CVs effectively. And with that, I would like to conclude the talk for today. And we also have a CNA at SAP mailbox which you can use to shoot queries if you have any. And yeah, so thank you everyone. That's all I have to share today. And yeah, back to you, Mukesh.
Yeah, thank you, Shubhra. Yeah, that was interesting presentation. So yeah, really thanks for taking time and sharing this with us. So I can see there are two questions which are in the Q&A box. The first one, sometimes security notes are very lengthy, many dependent notes with a lot of manual steps to be carried out. How to prioritize the secure notes based on CVE scope, and what is SAP's recommendation? So I would say it's not CVE scope, it would be CVSS score, which should be used to prioritize security notes. And yeah, it's so it always depends on the customer environment, which product and what it is being used to. Like maybe even if it's like a medium priority issue, maybe that application is having very sensitive information in your landscape. Or so at the end of the day, prioritizing implementation of security nodes will be like we cannot determine from SAP side. The customers will have to do some prioritization from their side. So the only indication which SAP provides is a CVSS score, which will tell you on the impact and based on how easy the vulnerability is exploitable, things like that. So you can use CVSS score to prioritize from SAP side, but then an internal assessment is definitely required. I hope that answers your question.
Right, Bibin. I also would like to just add a couple of things here. So CVE, first of all, is not a score, right? So CVE is an identifier for the vulnerability, and CVSS is the score provided for rating the severity of the vulnerability. Yeah, and then what Bibin says holds true. So CVSS is the core pillar of assessing the risk, but in addition to that, you have to consider the environmental factors. Yeah.
Okay, I can see the other thing that people are not able to click on the links for the other thing. I'll try to put it in the chat. If even then it's not possible to copy paste. Okay, I think it should be possible from the chat. I am just putting all the links on the chat also. Okay, so are there any other questions? In the meantime, I'll just share my screen.
So someone on the chat also said that they are not able to click on the above links, but I tried doing that right now and I'm able to do so. And it takes me to the links directly. So if I may ask, if you can just directly try clicking it again. And if not, then just copy and paste it. I think that should also work.
Yeah, otherwise you can definitely reach out to me later also. Like I'll share my contact information now. Yeah.
So where can they find the CVS, Bivin and Shipra? On the Launchpad, is it?
For the CVSS, there is a section inside the security note itself. Like I said, separate CVSS section is there. It is pretty evident in the security note. Can probably share just a sample note. Yeah, so here you can see that there is a separate section for CVSS, which will tell you the final score, which is here 9.0, and also the values for each vectors. There was a session on CVSS, I think, in this forum itself sometime earlier, but you can always find more about each vector just by Googling. So, yeah.
So if I understood correctly, the higher the score, the more important.
More critical it is, yeah. So you can see that the score is based out of 10. So the value ranges from 0 to 10. And whatever is above 8.9 or like 9 and above is considered as very high. And that is what is used to determine the priority of security nodes here also. Like now, right now it says hot news, which is the term which we use for very high priority nodes.
And also, these are already based on the respective systems, or these are common across all customers?
This is common across all customers. So that's why I was trying to say that this is a rating which is common for all customers, and now they should take this along with the impact on their environment to finally prioritize on the implementation. But at least you can see that these hot users will have higher impacts, which means that in case if it's exploitable, that will create a higher impact than the other issues. So prioritize hot news and high priority nodes also.
So my personal take on all of this, after having been a host to some of these, most of these conversations, is that it is a good idea for every organization to have a routine setup which says that every 2 months or every month you have a time blocked on your calendar which says that look at the security nodes and apply the patches that that SAP has released or expects you to apply, and make it a habit to do so that you don't unnecessarily become vulnerable. Is that a fair assessment, Bipin?
Yeah, it is a fair assessment, and I would again probably we should share the presentation or like the recording from Frank's session, which he did like 3-4 months back, where he was talking about how to create a security correction strategy in your organization, what are the main things you should be looking for? That is like the initial steps to kickstart if in case there is not a process, like such a process not existing in your environment as of now. So Mukesh, probably along with this, you can just share that recording also.
Okay. So any
Yeah.
other questions that anyone else has, maybe you can either put it on the chat or on the Q&A.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So otherwise, as you can see, you can either reach out to me or like Mukesh in case if you have any questions, or again, like just to give a reminder. So our session happens on second Tuesday of every month. You can find the registration link. The slides will be shared. So please feel free to forward this to other people who are interested.
Maybe you wanted to change the timing to afternoon, right, to accommodate more people?
Yeah. So I was just coming to that.
The
Yeah.
speakers, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. As I mentioned, it's happening on the last Tuesday, 11 to 12. So since we have like speakers coming from other regions, especially from Germany or like European regions also, it is a little difficult for them because it's too early for them in the morning. So just to accommodate them and to bring better topics from other regions also, the session will, like from next month, the session will be postponed to 3 to 4 every month. The same day, second Tuesday, sorry, the last Tuesday of every month, but instead of 11 to 12, 3 to 4. So I hope that is fine with everybody. Please let us know if you have any concerns or something from the chat. We can try to take it up.
So I'm going to edit the meeting going forward so that, you know, next time automatically when you receive a reminder, it'll have the updated time.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Okay, thanks Mukesh for that. And yeah, if there are no other questions, thanks for joining, and thanks Shipra for the great presentation. And please let us know if you are like, if you want any specific topic to be presented in this forum, and we will try to bring that up here. Okay, so you can reach out to me here again in this email ID, and then I think we can wind up for today. Thank you for joining again, and have a really nice day. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. And
you.
I would also love to hear any feedback if they have. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay.
You should.